to reach the United States, and from there, with a little luck, maybe Canada, we are seeing also the incredible pressure and stress in Haiti. When I speak about insecurity, kidnapping is plaguing the country. Narco traffickers and have taken, criminal organizations have taken control of the capital. I know that when I speak with friends in Haiti and also family members, this is the situation they are in right now, and it's a daily stress for them, not knowing who will be the next, who will be gunned down, who will be kidnapped. And cholera is back, and you have a humanitarian crisis that is also happening right now, and it's total despair. It's total despair. So we cannot be indifferent, and we have to recognize that we have also, when I say we, I mean Canada, participated in the situation Haiti is in now. And when I say that, think about how the Canadian and American governments in their decisions to deport small-scale traffickers of Haitian origin to Port-au-Prince without even consulting the country's authorities. They've been doing that for years, thus dumping an insurmountable plague on the weak nation. These deportees, who were obviously not prosecuted, with the strength of their networks, quickly anchored their criminal activities on Haitian soil and swelled the ranks of the drug trafficking network and activities, nebula, in Haiti. And we know that this problem is continental, and that the Republic of Haiti will not be able to deal with it alone. So that's why I'm saying the responsibility must be shared between all the international protagonists of this drama. And it takes a true, collaborative exercise, as I was saying, of truth and accountability in a concerted and orderly manner.
And so in the face of that, what specifically would you want wealthy nations like this one, like Canada, to do?
I would say that the sovereignty of Haiti has been so often flouted that it is in tears. Following the assassination of President Moise, foreign ambassadors, including, the ambassador of Canada, with consent of their capital, so then it was consent also of Ottawa and the participation of the United States, proceeded without restraint to install, Prime Minister Ariel Henry and the de facto government currently in power in Haiti. This is a rare situation in contemporary history, and we are witnessing an absolute, failure of multilateralism, and this happened without consideration for a beleaguered population that has been demanding for years respect for the rule of law and for the mobilization of hundreds of Haitian civil society organizations concerned with a return to constitutional order. So in order to and I believe that it's important, for Canada, for example, to recognize the importance of considering the efforts of Haitian civil society in finding, a Haitian solution to the problem, to the crisis right now.
Let me just ask you specifically about that, because we spoke with Monique Kleska, who lives in Port-au-Prince. She's a member of the Commission for a Haitian Solution to the Crisis. Take a listen to what she told us last year.
I don't think it's Canada's role to stop the violence right now. And I think that's the kind of reversal that we want. It is Haitian society, it is Haitian government that must be a sovereign state so that we have a new political direction, and then we can say to others, to our friends like Canada and the United States and the UN, this is the kind of help we need. This is the kind of support we want you to provide. Of course, we know that we cannot do it alone, but it is not up to them to decide what we need, what form of government we should have, when we should have elections, who should be directing the country. This is not the role of the international community.
So the Prime Minister has said that Ottawa will only act when there is political consensus of Haitians to support that act. Let me go back to the question that I asked you, and I guess help us understand how you work that out, ensuring that Haitians create their own solutions, but also solutions that will require, in many ways, the support of the international community. How is that possible?
Okay, I believe that, the de facto prime minister that has been put in place by, the group of ambassadors with the consent of the nation, after the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, has recently reached an agreement with part of civil society to create a high council of transition and an organ of control of government action. And what we can hope for, as Monique was saying, from Haitian solution to the crisis, that with this agreement, it will, hopefully lead to an inclusive societal alliance. Something like a consensual approach to transitional governance, a propositional force driven by Haitians themselves, with the ultimate goal of the nation's best interest and the common good. So, because Haiti needs a roadmap that will allow to get to the most pressing issues, that is to eradicate the armed gangs that control the capital and paralyze the country. And for this, Haiti undeniably needs solid reinforcements inspired by what other countries on the continent and elsewhere in the world have implemented in similar circumstances. So what is needed is inclusive, robust and representative governance for sure, well structured to establish the terms of reference of international cooperation in solidarity with Haiti.
Let me ask you about the reinforcements, because the security on the ground, to your point, is paramount. People don't know who is going to be kidnapped next. We know U.S. President Joe Biden and the Prime Minister Trudeau are going to hold a bilateral meeting today. Joe Biden will reportedly press Canada to lead an international security force in Haiti that would support Haiti's national police force, presumably to deal with the violence that you're seeing right now. Is that something that you would support?
Okay, when we say support the Haitian National Police, I think it's more than support. There's an urgent supervision of Haitian National Police that is needed, because unfortunately, the police is very much infiltrated by criminals. So we have to be very, very careful in how we're doing this. And likewise, for the control, I think what the kind of support that we can bring, because we've done that. I remember that after the earthquake, how much, the RCMP and some provincial police forces went down to Haiti to actually, train even and support the Haitian National Police. And this is right now more than support that is needed, is supervision, because, as I said, the police is largely infiltrated by criminals.
So would you support a Canadian-led international security force in Haiti?
It doesn't, I don't think Haitians want to see boots on the ground.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think what they want is something like a structured, support with know-how. Likewise, for the control of port activities, in order to effectively fight against weapons trafficking and movement, mainly from the United States, because they help Haitian, the Haitian transitional government to see at the economy of insecurity that is really flourishing, and its beneficiaries resisting also to all the changes that are required to reclaim and secure the national territory. And for that, there are terms of reference that should be, put in place, including a strategy designed to respond, to the cholera and humanitarian crisis. I think Canada can do that. I think, and not just Canada alone. It's like bringing some support that doesn't have to be like a military presence, doesn't have to be like forces, foreign forces on the ground, but assistance. I don't know if I'm being clear on that.
Well, no, I think part of it is that people are trying to figure out, and this will depend in many ways on consensus within Haiti to get to a point where the country itself is in agreement in terms of what it is looking for from the international community. And this is something that we've talked about with Haitians, that we've talked about with international observers as well. Bob Ray was on this program last month. He is the ambassador to the United Nations. He was in Haiti in early December. Have a listen to some of what he said is needed to help Haiti get past that political impasse that we've been talking about.
What we haven't got yet, and we're still waiting for it and need to see it, is Haitian political leaders of all stripes, from civil society, the Montana Group, plus other political parties, getting together and say, okay, we want to have a transition to an election. We need to have state institutions established for a period of time so that we can then move forward on having an election so that the government can have legitimacy and then the state can rebuild itself with the assistance of outside countries.
Michael Jean, how likely is it that we will see that sort of political organization, that sort of political consensus in Haiti anytime soon?
We're hoping that the agreement that has been reached just a few weeks ago with de facto Prime Minister Ariel Henry and part of civil society, creating a high council of transition, an organ of control of government, will lead to an inclusive societal alliance. That's what I was saying. Consensual approach to transitional governance. A propositional force driven by Haitians themselves with the ultimate goal of the nation's best interest and the common good. This is what is needed. And we need also, when I say we, I would say Haiti and Haiti's friends need to see an inclusive, robust, and representative, governance, well structured, to establish also the terms of reference of international cooperation in solidarity with Haiti, and if only, I say that again, a well structured, urgent supervision of the Haitian National Police, because we can be there, supporting the National Police, giving more equipment to the National Police, but we have to see what they're doing with it, because there is indeed, an economy of insecurity that is flourishing. We know that some members of the police force are selling also arms that they are receiving, are using for their own, interest, equipment that is given to them. So it has to be well supervised with the Haitian, transitional government, and of course, there's one thing that we need to understand. We didn't pay attention to what the civil society in Haiti has been, how it has been mobilizing and how they've been working, to find, Haitian solution to this Haitian problem. And experiences elsewhere have demonstrated that it is through the strengthening of civil resistance and support for citizen initiatives and actions that are fundamentally nonviolent, that peace and security can be built with the essential contribution of the people. So ignoring what the people are saying, ignoring the fact that, for too long, for more than a year now, the de facto Prime Minister and his government have not been really trying hard enough, to engage in something, in some form of transitional, governance that is inclusive. So this is what also, because when I hear Ambassador Bob Ray, whom I respect, of course, only speaking about, having a dialogue with political forces in Haiti. I would say not just them, but also, and I know that Bob Ray, when he went to Haiti,
right,
he took the time to speak to representatives of civil society, like Monique Kleska and others, to make sure that Canada could come with a strategy along Haitians, that is inclusive.
We're almost out of time. We just have a minute or so left. And I know that you have deep affection for this country, but you've also said that history will not be kind to those who remain active. Just very briefly, what are you most concerned about? I mean, what is your greatest fear?
I think that right now, my greatest fear is for us to see more people dying already. Like hundreds and thousands of people have died. The criminal organizations who have received full impunity for so long and who have grown now more organized, taking control of the capital. This country is really at the highest risk right now. We cannot remain indifferent. We have to come along, and in solidarity with Haiti, but in a different way. Not just, deciding for Haitians, but supporting, the transitional process and being there in a very organized and I would say concerted way. This is what we need to do right now, because otherwise we will continue to see this country as being cursed. This country is also a place where you have intelligent people, people with goodwill, and these are the people that need to be supported. And I think even with these terms of reference of solidarity and assistance, we'll see also we will support also the electoral process in Haiti, and we'll see the country going back to a democratic and constitutional order.
We'll leave it there. Michaëlle Jean, good to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Michaëlle Jean, former Governor General of Canada, served as UNESCO's special envoy to support reconstruction efforts in Haiti, talking about what she wants from the Canadian government to support that country. This is The Current. We're back in 6 minutes. Stay with us.
This is CBC Radio 1, 103.7 FM in Grand Manan. Son of a Critch is back, and things are changing in young Mark's personal life.
You're becoming a man now. Some interesting girls, hair popping up everywhere.
His school life.
Sister Margaret is dead, and in her place we have Ms. Fowler.
His love life.
You don't even know she got a boyfriend.
And, well, the rest of his life. Season 2 of Son of a Critch, Tuesdays at 8:30 on CBC. Stream free on CBC Gem. The CBC News is next. Coming up in an hour, it's Q.
Dakota Ray Hebert decided she wanted to make her debut comedy album all about the Indian Act. So Dakota will be here to tell you how she wants to use comedy to speak her own truth as an Indigenous person, and why she wanted to record her album steps away from Parliament Hill in Ottawa.
This is the CBC News for New Brunswick. It's 9 o'clock. I'm Sarah Traynor. European Union climate researchers are saying the world is not ready for climate change-related extreme weather. And that's a problem, as the latest EU data continues to show how rapidly the Earth is warming. Inayat Singh has more.
The last 8 years have been the warmest 8 years on record. Last year we said that the last 7 years have been the 7 most warmest years on record.
Samantha Burgess is part of the European Union's Earth Observation Scientific Program. 2022 was the 5th warmest year on record, but Crucially, that happened during La Nina, a periodic global atmospheric phenomenon that generally lowers global temperatures.
If we remove that La Nina from 2022, then the temperature would have been even warmer than we observed.
A hotter 2023 could bring with it worse climate disasters like the storms moving into California and the floods in Canada last year, highlighting the urgency for communities to start preparing. Inayat Singh, CBC News, Toronto.
It has gone from bad to worse across a vast area of California, with the state now getting hit by a second straight powerful storm system. Steve Futterman has the latest.
Overnight, once again, California was battered by strong winds and very heavy rains.
I've been here 28 years, and this is the most water we've seen in 28 years.
This is what it sounded like as the latest storm gave California exactly what it doesn't need right now. In many areas, it was just too much rain.
The entire community of Montecito is ordered evacuated now.
In the exclusive city of Montecito, north of L.A., where a deadly mudslide killed 23 people in 2018, residents were told to leave. Nearby in Ventura, California, flash floods trapped a number of people. The forecast calls for more rain the rest of the week. How much more rain hillsides already saturated can handle, officials don't really know. Steve Futterman for CBC News, Los Angeles.
Tens of thousands of people across Brazil want the world to know they do not support former President Jair Bolsonaro.
Bolsonaro na prisão!
In the wake of pro-Bolsonaro supporters storming the Brazilian Capitol buildings over the weekend, pro-democracy protesters took to the streets yesterday in cities and towns across the country. Many were wearing red. It's the color of the Workers' Party, which is led by newly elected President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. At the same time, the former president has been admitted to hospital in Florida. Bolsonaro's wife says he is experiencing intestinal pain related to an attack 5 years ago in which Bolsonaro was stabbed. The MLA for Bathurst West Beresford says he is a bit concerned about the environmental risk at the Caribou mine site. Renee Legacy's comments come after word the province will make sure security and pumping systems keep working there, at least in the short term, as Trevally Mining goes out of business. Legacy says his concerns stem from word that the Environment Department has not had much presence on site since the zinc, copper, lead, silver, and gold mine shut down last summer.
I mean, we knew where Trevally was going to end up and probably we're going to close. And as it gets closer to the end, you'd think that the risk is going to be higher. So I would have anticipated that the Environmental Department would have stepped up their presence and not answered, we haven't been there in a while.
Legacy says he's hopeful a new operator for the mine can be found, and if not, a larger investment may be needed to secure it for the long term. And that's the CBC News for New Brunswick.
Hi, I'm CBC meteorologist Tina Simpkin. Periods of snow throughout the day today, accumulating anywhere from a trace to 2 centimeters in the west and 2 to perhaps up to 5 centimeters in the east. Winds today will pick up out of the northwest, 20 at times gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour, with temperatures ranging between -6 and -1. Overnight tonight, skies begin to clear from west to east, a few flurries staying in the forecast, and temperatures dropping near -20 in the north, -7 in the south.
Good morning, I'm Matt Galloway, and you're listening to The Current. Still to come, an attack on the Capitol, this time in Brazil. But first, another story of a Canadian doing extraordinary work, from finding his calling as a child, learning about the Holocaust, to educating generations about anti-Semitism. Kick off the new year, we have been sharing some of the stories of the new additions to the Order of Canada. We've heard from scientists, volunteers, musicians, teachers, and we'll get to the teachers part in just a moment. It's been fascinating learning about Canadians and the work that they are doing. Elie Rubenstein is the religious leader of the Congregation Habanim and longtime national director of the March of the Living. He is receiving the Order of Canada for his significant contributions to Holocaust education. Elie Rubenstein, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated.
What is this? Well, what does this recognition mean to you?
Well, to be quite frank, when I got the phone call from the wonderful woman at the Governor General's office, my first reaction was, "Are you sure you have the right number?" To which she laughed, and I was completely surprised, shocked. Did not see it coming. I had no idea this was being planned. That people were lobbying behind the scenes for this and making all sorts of beautiful things about me. And so I was completely taken aback by it. But then I grew from that surprise and not feeling I was worthy of it, and I'm still wondering if I am, to incredible appreciation, because I was not expecting the deluge, the flood of phone calls and emails and texts and just incredible appreciation and joy and vicarious pleasure that so many of my friends expressed to me. And that for me was, the Order of Canada is a beautiful award, but the love and the affection and just the genuine good feelings I got from so many people completely took me by shock. And I think for me, what I thought about was, when I got the award, that there's so many other Canadians who are doing incredible work and deserve accolades, if not as much, even more than I. And if you're listening to this, you know such people. Give them a call, give them a pat on the back, and tell them how much they're appreciated, because I know that they will appreciate that as well.
It's very generous of you. Let me talk about the good work that you have done, that you're being recognized for. Where did the work in terms of Holocaust education begin for you?
Well, I grew up in Toronto in a very religious community. My own mother was a refugee from the Holocaust. Many of her family members perished. My grandfather came from a town in Poland. My mother's from Hungary. My grandfather came from a town in Poland. It was virtually wiped out during the Holocaust. Not a single Jew survived. He came in 1913, but anybody who didn't come before the war, almost nobody survived from that town. And I grew up in not only having Holocaust stories in my family, but also my peers. Many of my friends, their parents were Holocaust survivors. My teachers, many of them were Holocaust survivors. I grew up seeing, as a matter of course, people with numbers in their arms, which was the numbers the Nazis put on prisoners in Auschwitz, branded them like cattle. And I grew up with that very, very sad part of human history as part of my consciousness, and it was something that really, really bothered me and troubled me, because, I was a child. I wanted to love the world. I wanted to appreciate the world. I wanted to see the beauty in the world. And then I was surrounded by, examples of the exact opposite. So from my entire childhood, I was wondering, how could this have happened? How can we understand this, and how can we make sure it doesn't happen again, not just to the Jewish people, but to any member of the human family? So I grew up with that shadow of the Holocaust throughout my entire childhood and adolescence.
Part of the work that you do, as I mentioned in the introduction, is to take students from around the world with survivors to spend time in significant sites from the Holocaust, in Poland and Germany. Why is it important to be in those places? Because education can happen in any different number of ways. But when you're there, what's different about being there in terms of that educational process?
You're absolutely right. Education can happen anywhere, and we should be encouraged to people to read books and to watch films and to listen to speakers about the Holocaust, and all that's very good. But when you go back to a place like Auschwitz and you hear someone tell their story in the very place their tragedy unfolded, it leaves an indelible mark. I remember Judy Weissenberg-Cohen, a beloved Holocaust survivor from Toronto, telling her story. I heard it many times. And just a fragment of her story. She one time told